Hello and welcome in on our season premiere of Around the Association. Each week here on the program, we'll take a look at what's happening with the latest in local youth hockey at the 10U, 12U, and 14U levels. We'll also continue to follow and recap the brand new high school varsity hockey team as well. 2021 brought us some exciting hockey moments, a brand new year, and a brand new season here on Around the Association. Bring us exciting action as well to drop the puck on 2022. Our coverage follows the 10U Renzi Power Sports Squirts out of the Tequamanon Area Youth Hockey Association, as well as the 12U Oswald's Bear Ranch Pee-wees. At the 14U level this year, we've got the State Savings Bank team. That's another combined effort between Manistee, Newberry, and Munising. Of course, the brand new high school varsity hockey team has been making plenty of noise in their debut season. The Emeralds varsity co-op with Newberry High School, Munising High School, and players out of Superior Central as well. A 4-game winning streak as we enter in to the new year. Hope that you can follow us all season long right here on Around the Association. We'll have exclusive interviews with players and coaches. Each week we'll pick our top players of the week from across all levels around the area, and also give you the latest schedule, including broadcast games that you can find on our network channels. This week, our coverage will start Friday night in Escanaba at the Hannibal Ice and Turf Complex, formerly known as the Wells. The Emeralds varsity program looks for their 5th straight win when they take on Escanaba. Puck drop is 7 o'clock on Friday night. Saturday, we will be down in Manistee for local 14U action as State Savings Bank gets ready to do battle with Marquette. A big game that could be a preview of what lies ahead in the upcoming regional and UP district tournaments. Sunday, we wrap up the weekend coverage as we will be back in Manistee, this time for 12U action. It's Teja versus Manistee hockey as the 12U Oswald's Bear Ranch Pee-wees take on Manistee's 12U team in a local rivalry matchup. Catch all those games on the M123 FM and Newberry News Facebook pages. Also, high school games on Manistee Varsity Hockey Facebook as well. And don't forget, this year you can now stream us straight to your TV with the Newberry News YouTube channel. Go there, click the subscribe link, get live notifications of all of our game broadcasts, and watch us on the big screen. Coming up on this week's season premiere of Around the Association, we'll sit down with one of the Manistee Emeralds varsity players. One of the team leaders, Johnny Nutkins, joins us to break down the start of the season, what lies ahead for that new group. We'll also visit with Ben Rahali. He's the president of the Tequamanon Area Youth Hockey Association, helping coach the 10U and 12U teams. We had exciting tournament action over the holiday break in Marquette. Now look for a big start to the brand new year. Of course, we couldn't cover all of these local teams and give you all these great games without a great team of local sponsors. Huge thank you out there to all of you businesses and individuals who help sponsor our local hockey coverage this season. Coming up, more here from Around the Association. Back on this week's season premiere of Around the Association, Dan Hardenbrook visiting with one of our local high school hockey players. It is Johnny Nutkins. Johnny, how things going?
Things are going pretty good. Just getting back here from break, so kind of getting settled back into reality.
Didn't get a whole lot of time to rest and relax. You've been practicing and played a game over break. Let's talk about the most recent run for you and the Emeralds co-op with Manistee, Newberry, and Munising. Nice little 4-game win streak to wrap up 2021.
We've been playing kind of, at home more, and I think that's been helping a lot. Just great crowds at the games and stuff like that. It's been a lot better of an atmosphere, though, at practice, I will say. Seems like everyone's having a lot more fun, getting along really well, playing together, and stuff's just kind of starting to fall into place, and we're starting to look like the team we should be.
One of the big changes that we see with the move to high school hockey is less games. You're not playing every weekend. somewhere far away, like you said, getting some chances to play at home. But there's a lot more practice time. And I know talking to your dad and the rest of the coaches, they're really more evaluating things based on how practices are going rather than necessarily games. What have you seen in the practices? Because the word coming out of practices is that those are sometimes more competitive than your games have been.
It's crazy to me when you see kind of us competing against each other. Just how good we can be. I mean, we got some forwards like my brother, for example, Dakota Mackey. Those guys are just, when they're on their game, they're fun to watch. I mean, just even like passing to each other, they can just make it look pretty, and it makes practice fun. It almost feels like a game.
Obviously, combining 3 towns has not been anything new. We've had great success over the past few years working with Manistee and Munising at the youth levels, but here really combining not just 3 towns but 3 different age groups and teams. You got guys coming up from the 14U, guys who have played AA hockey, you guys that were at an 18U JV level. What's it been like kind of meshing freshmen with seniors,
Right.
and
Right.
all these guys that have these different backgrounds?
It's definitely a lot of diversity, but there's one thing in common, and that's everyone loves hockey.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. We're all the same people in the same room. I think that we mesh really well, especially the 3 towns. We've been kind of playing together for the last however many years, and I think it's in practice, and especially in our most recent games, that we've been just really coming together and starting to play as a team.
You're looked at as one of the team leaders. I'm curious because when you bring all these different guys in who maybe are used to running the show at their own level,
Right.
or were the stars of their youth team somewhere else, that maybe now have to embrace a team role, as one of those guys that's more experienced, been through some battles, had a lot of teammates. How's the chemistry of the team, and how is it getting guys to kind of gel and fit together and really play their role, which is important at this level?
It's I kind of manipulate and let it work its way. You know what I'm saying? I sit back and I let those guys who do excel, even at their own age level, excel in this level, because even though they are younger freshmen, I mean, you got guys like Carson Hinkson, Gavin, Audie. Just those are a few examples of just younger guys that are, I would say, more skilled than myself. And I just, pats on the back, keep them going, and just sit back and let them do their thing, but, just keep them going and steer the ship a little
You
bit.
kind of get a front row seat playing on the back line behind all these
Yeah.
great forwards, as you said, kind of getting to watch things develop and see what they do. But the defense, guys like you, Zach Burton, Basonic, Matthew Rahali, this defensive group is really starting to show its depth. A guy like Eric Edwards, you're big, you're fast, you're strong, you're physical on the back end. What's it like being a part of that defensive group?
It's even more than the team. It's almost like its own separate group. We're still included with the forwards, but we kind of sit on the bench, chirp back and forth with them. Like there's 3 forward lines. Why do you guys all got to stand up? We're trying to hop the boards here, but no, it's fun. I love all those guys, and I mean, there's a lot of diversity there too. I mean, you got Manistee, Munising. I mean, Maddie's a freshman, and then you got a bunch of seniors, and just all different sizes. And I mean, I think we play together well and just get along really well.
You mentioned the atmosphere at the home games. They anticipated a huge crowd and estimate that 500 people in the building for that first home game. And Manistee got a little bonus the next night over in Munising, where it was standing room only. What's that been like coming out? Because as you know, being a road warrior on the weekend, you'll see parents and grandparents, but maybe not much else. But a ton of kids in the building too, coming out to cheer on.
It's it makes you play different. It affects you that much. It's seeing the kids come out and actually care about the sport and watching us play now. I mean, we're at a good level, but I mean it just brings it to a whole different level because everyone's having fun, and my friends are here watching us, and it's cool. It's a lot more fun.
Really, the first year with a new program, a lot of the time spent proving yourselves. You guys feel like you've proved you belong at this level?
I do, but I think we still have to beat Escanaba to prove we belong here, because I definitely think they're one of our biggest competitors, and I know a lot of guys over there, and I know they know how to play hockey.
It's going to be a good showdown. It's this week's feature contest as the Emeralds do take on Escanaba in that Friday night contest to kickstart a weekend full of youth hockey, where we will be covering teams from all different levels across the area. Johnny Nutkin's our guest. This is the season premiere of Around the Association. Back on this week's season premiere edition of Around the Association, as we keep you up to date with what's happening in the local hockey scene. You can't talk about local hockey at any level without talking to Ben Rahaly, president of Teja, coach of the 12U Pee-wees, coach of the 10U, Renzi Power Sports Squirts, and if Newbury was Hockey Town, you, sir, would be the mayor.
I don't know. Between me and Coach Nutkins, we get a lot of teams in every year, that's for certain.
Headed into the new year, we've got a chance to see the Squirts and the Pee-wees up in Marquette. Now the teams are kind of getting a regular schedule under their belt. How have you seen things as we wrapped up 2021?
As we wrapped up 2021, the Squirts ended on a big high with winning that Marquette tournament. The Pee-wees ended up kind of on a low. We expected to go in and have a very successful weekend that weekend, and it's always a tough tournament. It just is. Me and Coach Nutkins were talking about it. We don't have many wins in that tournament of the final game. Yeah, got there lots, but man, to finish the deal, that tournament just is one of them ones that just gets us. It's just a tough one. And so the Pee-wees, we had a little heart-to-heart talk, and we're on an uphill battle now, and we know it, and the kids are refocused. We had a really good practice outside at Trent Vruding's monstrosity of an ice rink. It's 214 foot long by 85 wide. It's bigger than the barn. It's bigger than a full sheet ice. So we had the kids out there running around, so they were getting excited and getting back into it. And little pond hockey's good for the kids. So
that's right. Early on in the seasons when you're working with the younger groups, especially 10U, 12U levels, what are the things that you're trying to instill as a coaching staff? Some of the things you focus on when the season first starts and through the first 6 to 8 weeks of the year?
So beginning of the season, really up to even this point, we've done very minimal positioning work, plays, all that stuff. We don't do much of that till it gets to be after the first year. I mean, everything's skill based. We're skating, we're passing, we're shooting, doing them things every practice all season, but we really hammer them in that first portion of the season that we just passed through to get the kids back going into it. There's so many of our kids play other sports. They don't have a hockey stick in their hand other than during hockey season. So we got to get them as many shots as they can, many passes as they can, skating, working on their strides and stuff. And now as that goes, we'll keep working that stuff in, but we'll also work in some positioning stuff and everything. So
always curious too, for players in a first year at the new level. Maybe they're bumping up to a 12U or 12U kids that you've sent to 14U. You're working with the high school team, got a lot of young kids there.
Oh, yeah.
What's the toughest transition, or maybe the biggest thing you work with half a team in their first year at the level and the other half maybe in their second year around?
The biggest one is getting them first kids to the pace of play. It changes year to year. When you jump a level, kids are like, oh, I just jumped a level, not a big deal. Well, it is always a step up in pace. I mean, you see it even a college kid going to the pros. There's another step there. You think they're elite athletes, and then there's another step they got to find, a different gear. And that's trying to get them acclimated to keep the kids that are your second year, your veteran players, to keep the pace all the time, to not come down and play to where them guys are comfortable. Let's push them to get up to that higher level. And it is a struggle every year, but that's what you're trying to do, is get the older kids to bring the younger kids along up to where they need to be.
As we look back on the first part of the season, again, you mentioned the Squirt tournament in Marquette, and boy oh boy, the youngsters kind of tested the blood pressure for
oh man, the Heartbreak Kids or something, the heart attack team, I don't know what they are, but geez, going into overtime and shootout and then overtime again, and it was just amazing. And all but one game they fell behind. They came from behind every game, which showed they really don't care what the score is. They're going to keep grinding it out and giving it, and that's a huge stride to teams being successful. There's a lot of teams when they get down by a couple goals, they're drooping their shoulders and they're whining and complaining, and these kids just, they almost don't understand what they just did. I mean, it was an amazing run they had up there in Marquette, and it was pretty fun. Last game we got to play out Dave Demers there, Mr. Hometown Pharmacy, so he's excited he gets to come to the barn this year, so in a couple weeks he'll be here playing in the barn.
We're dropping the puck on 2022, kind of getting back in the groove after the holiday break, and a busy weekend for the youth teams this coming weekend.
Yeah, you got the 10U and the 12U are both up in Munising on Saturday against Escanaba, which both are very good hockey teams coming. So big test early in the new year for both these teams after a pretty long stretch. We gave our kids Christmas break to be kids. Go do whatever, hang out with families, travel, spend time sledding, do whatever. And now we're back in the grind. Well, we're only going to have a couple practices under our belt. So it may be a little rusty at first, but I think that break always bodes well to us in the long stretch of things, because hockey season's a long season. Now we're refreshed. Going into it, we're going to put in the work. So this will be a great test for both teams. Both Escanaba teams coming in at the 10U and 12U are phenomenal. So.
Yep, and then the 12U back in action on Sunday when they will be over in Manistee. We'll have coverage all season long, the rest of the way with the local youth hockey teams. Of course, you can follow along here each week on our show covering the local youth hockey teams. Of Ben Rahaly, I'm Dan Hardenbrook. This is Around the Association.